Alright guys, again, some people like these kind of, oops, it easy. Some people like these kind of videos of me talking about things I would like to see changed, or character changes in the game, right? And of course, any change I talk about is kind of going off, you'd have to watch, the original videos about, fundamental changes I would like. So let me talk about some things I would like to see to changed with Kid Buu, or maybe some other characters, maybe I can think of something to talk about. So first I should warn you, when I talk about the things I would change with Kid Buu, I'm probably going to make him sound like really broken, even though he's already, he's generally been considered a good character for a long time now, since the game's been out, right? But it is what it is. I'm going to tell you about the things I would change, And when I talk about these changes too, I want people to remember that just because you don't like a character doesn't mean that someone else doesn't have fun with that character. Okay? Just because, this character has been good, that doesn't mean that someone isn't having fun with that character right now. So unless something is actually super broken, unless someone is doing something that is literally, ruining the game, or something like that, you know what I mean? Like breaking the game, you shouldn't be asking for that to go away. So, he got some of this kind of shit taken away, was all the fucking, I don't agree with, them taking away that kind of shit. Like, that shit should be back because that's fun. That's cool that he can actually, bring you out of the corner and then, cross up with the ball. That shit is fun. They should not have taken that out. It doesn't matter if he's a good character, right? Because there's always going to be, that's why I think it's better to err on the side of giving lots of characters, making lots of characters, throwing the kitchen sink at them, and seeing where it falls, basically. Rather than having a game being dumbed down and boring, better to have a game where lots of characters hopefully have something broken, quotation marks, right? Hopefully you get what I'm saying, right? Because there's people that like Kid Buu, you know what I mean? So just because you don't like them, you know what I mean? I don't like lots of characters, right? But it doesn't mean you can't just have your favorite character win automatically, dude, right? So besides that easy example of what I just showed with him, I'll say one thing that I don't get, though. I don't get this shit. In a way, that's kind of cool that you can do that. But that's one thing. I don't know why they didn't tone that down. I don't know why they didn't give his feet a hitbox or a hurt box. That's weird to me. I think that is one tone down you could probably give him. I guess if you're going to get... I don't understand why... part of me thinks that's kind of fucking fun and that he can do that, but... that was one strange thing that, they just didn't give it a hurt box. Seems strange to me. But anyway, okay. Fun things that you could give Kid Buu. Well... first of all, what would be the first thing I could say? For his brand new special move, I know I'm probably going to sound like crazy here. I think he should have Karnav's balloon. I don't know why. Because, he has that flying squirrel move that he does, in the manga, the anime, whatever. He blows himself up, blah, 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 blah. How the fuck does he not have that move, dude, right? And you want to know what? Just straight rip it from Karnav's Revenge. Give him Karnav's balloon. Let him do it in the air. Let him do Karnav's balloon. If they think it's too good, maybe just give it a couple. He can only do 2 balloons a time in the air, right? But there's his new special move. Give him Karnav's balloon. And the thing is, in this kind of game, since everyone has the Duck Hard Slash or Duck Hard whatever, so you have the anti-air move. So it's the only real mix-up, only real quotation marks is, is he doing the hard balloon or the light balloon? So that changes when he's invincible. But since if he's always going to come down with an attack, at least in this game, you always have the Duck Hard Slash or the Duck Hard anti-air anyway, right? I think that would be really fun. Give him the balloon as his new move. I think the only other way I think you could maybe put the balloon is, imagine if you've already air dashed once, if you try to air dash again and you press forward or back, he blows up, and then you can kind of do a slight low, kind of floaty down. He blows up as a balloon, and as long as you're holding down on the D-pad, he stays floaty, and so you can get some weird kind of double instant air dash mix-ups or something like that, something weird like that. But that would be the new move I would give him, because again, I would go off the idea that I think it's possible that you could give every character at least one new special move or a super move, and then one new normal. That's not out of the realm of possibility. I think you could do that, right? So what would his new normal move be, right? Well, since I think every character should have a normal move that doesn't move them forward, because I can't tell you how fucking awful I hate that every fucking normal moves you forward, you know what I mean? It just is absolutely god awful, like, you know? Oh, God. So what would his new normal be? Well, I think this is actually pretty awesome. I'm a goddamn fucking genius. But you know what his new normal move should be? Did you know in Final Bout how he has kind of like a, if you ever played Final Bout, he basically kind of goes on his head and he does like a super hurricane kick or like a Chun-Li spinning bird kick, right? And he just flails his legs around, right? That should be his new move. But how could you make that move an awesome and interesting normal move, right? Basically, just think of it like Ryu's super hurricane kick, right? Now, it wouldn't go as far as, because look how far that goes, right? I would say it could go as a little bit less far than that, right? Like maybe where his knee is right there. So his legs get a little bit bigger, right? Something like that. And he spins his legs around, right? And it does 3 hits, right? Something like that. Again, it's not going to go that far, but make it a little bit stretchy like that, maybe a little bit less, right? And so it's a normal that doesn't move him forward. He does 3 quick spins, right? I would say, hopefully, you got to use your imagination here for me, right? Hopefully, you've seen Final Bout. So the first hit or whatever, right? When he hits you, like, okay, you know I'm getting sucked in there. Imagine the first hit hits and it sucks the guy in, right? So the guy gets sucked in. So boom, boom. Oh, I'm actually moving my hands right now, and you can't even see my hands. I'm a fucking idiot. There's no camera. So the first hit sucks you in, right? And then basically, because he does a spin, sucks you in. And then there's a second hit like this that would have this kind of range because he spins around again for the second hit. And then the third hit then goes out to that range again. And then it pushes the guy out to basically exactly just where they were, right? So it's a 3-hit special move that doesn't, or normal move that doesn't move him forward. It's kind of like a Ryu Super Hurricane Kick because it sucks you in for the first couple hits and then it spits you back out right where you were, right? So you're solving a couple of problems right here. You're making a couple interesting things. First, not every normal move should move you forward, right? We do that, right? So now we're also sucking the dude in. So then if the guy were to block it, you know what I mean? You suck him in and you can do boom. Those kind of mix-ups, because that should actually work. You should actually be able to get that cross-up then mid-screen, depending on how you delay it, right? Or, you know what I mean? The guy gets pushed back to neutral, right? So you can go for some other kind of thing, right? Or you're going for these kind of shit, right? You know, that kind of shit, whatever this thing is, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, whatever. That's fucking cool, dude. That's his new normal. Little baby, a normal move that counts as a little baby super hurricane kick, right? And it has multiple utility. You're fixing one of the fundamental problems of not every normal should move you forward in a game because it's fucking god awful, right? But you're also giving Kid Buu a little bit of his own kind of unique flair because you can suck in, go for these kind of mix-ups depending on how you hit it, or you know what I mean, you're going for that kind of shit, right? Or then you just space the guy back out again, right? And you're doing whatever, right? I think that's fun, right? If you think it's too good, you could probably make it, maybe it's not a true combo on block, so the guy could actually reflect it or something like that. Then, you know, there's still like a potential mix-up there, but that's what I would do. I think that sounds really interesting, right? What are some other things that stick out to me? I know I don't talk about combos too much in this when I talk about these because, you know, despite me doing a lot of combo videos, I think, you know, I'm more concerned about the fundamental aspects of the game, but combo-wise with Kid Buu, I do think a lot of the staircase combos, I do think those should be made easier. And I do think the ball, you know what I mean? Because a lot of this stuff, it's just too... Well, there, wait, what am I doing? It's just... You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff, like, again, which I originally showed, right? A lot of that stuff, it just seems too specific, right? A lot of the stuff just seems too, it's just too specific, you know what I mean? So I think you could make maybe the ball, make it do another frame of stun, you know what I mean? So again, you're making that easier, but you're adding up because there's some like combo opportunities where you're really low to the ground and you're doing something like that into a ball, right? And it just doesn't, it just looks like it should, if it was just a little bit faster, you could even make maybe the ball as a frame faster. You know what I mean? And it does like a frame longer or something. There's just certain situations. You know what I mean? It's just too specific. It feels too set up. Like I think it's cool, but there should be a little bit more leeway, right? to be a little bit more creative. Like I know I showed off all that. I just recently showed off a quadruple loop with it, right? Very specific though, right? I feel like there should be a little bit more leeway for stuff for like that to make it a little bit realistic. Just like the staircase loops that I originally showed, you know what I mean? And I've showed multiple ways to go into it, right? I think maybe make the fireball do another frame of stun or something like that, or maybe a frame better recovery off it. Maybe both. Maybe, but that would be 2 frames. Maybe that's too easy. But I feel like a lot of the staircase combos, I feel like they should be a little bit more fundamental part of his game plan, right? Not saying, I'm not going overboard that you should be able to mash it, but I do think stuff like that should be a little bit more fundamental with him, a little bit more leeway instead of being hard to do. Does that make sense? Like it can be hard to do, but it's a little too specific still, I think, right? You know what I mean? Hopefully you get what I'm saying. You can make it a smidge easier. Maybe make the fireball maybe do 1 more frame of stun, or make this have a frame better recovery, or both, right? I think that would be like a fun thing to do, right? Even stuff like that, you know, even with the fire, you know, I even potentially, you know, shit like this, dude. Like, I feel like, you know, I've showed a lot of shit with that, you know. I feel like maybe that could be a frame. Again, if the fireball does 1 more frame of stun, I've showed stuff like this. What is this? Let's see. Damn. Let's see. I found it. Yeah, dude. Oh, damn. I'm exposed. Oh, I'm fucking exposed. Oh, God. Fuck me. Wow, dude. Well, that just goes to show you. I haven't played Kid Buu. Yeah, there we go. Wow, damn. What was that? I don't know. Jeez, I missed that quite a bit. Anyway, I'm kind of mashing when I talk to you guys, but I feel like even that, you know what I mean? I feel like maybe you could give his hard another frame of a frame better recovery, something like that. You know, something like that, because I think that's kind of fun too, right? And that brings me into another problem when I've done that combo, right? I think that these moves should be like tweaked a little bit too, right? So first of all, I think the jab should be a hard knockdown, because that should be a real thing to go into, like a real game, right? You know what I mean? Like that should be like a legitimate thing. Like if you're gonna end your combo early and go for that, I think like that should be a hard knockdown that you get a mix up like off that. I know people are gonna be like, man, Clayton, you're making Kid Buu too good. Roll with me here for a second, because that's just how the move should work, dude. Give him an option for that. And also, I think that the hard version like that should still bounce the guy. I think that should still bounce the guy. That shouldn't cause a sliding knockdown if you've done just like a hard like that. I think you should be able to get something off of that, I think. So again, that's all. I know I'm just giving Kid Buu tons of buffs, right? But I mean, it is what it is. Another fundamental problem I think with him is I've talked about how all medium auto combos should actually have a purpose, right? So if we were to look at this, right, his medium auto combo does this. It actually wall bounces. You know what I mean? So how could we actually fix this, right? So I've said, so maybe because I'm giving Kid Buu so much, maybe I won't actually give him a unique medium from that, right? You know, but generally speaking, I think most characters you could do that. You give him a new move, you know, give him a new special, but maybe Kid Buu will be one of the few characters that doesn't have that generic, like I said, that every medium should have, medium auto combos need to have a use, right? Nothing should be in a game that it has no use. So what is something unique we could give Kid Buu, since, you know, we're kind of going ham on him, right? Well, how about this? His medium auto combo like this, that fireball, that should be a real combo, okay? So there's a reason to go into it. And also, you should be able to do from that, this thing right here, you know how this thing only gives you blue life restored? I think when you do this version of the fireball, it should also give you yellow life, not just blue life. And it should be like much bigger. So maybe you get like 5% health back and like 10% blue life. Something kind of ridiculous, right? Something potentially like that. I would even say this could get a little bit, maybe the regular one could even get a little bit more blue life, whatever. Maybe a little bit of life, but make like I said, moves should not be in a game if they don't have a purpose. So give Kid Buu his medium auto combo. Like maybe if you're losing the match, you're going to use the medium auto combo. You can do that fireball. You can get a good, you know, at least a little bit of life back. Maybe 5% yellow life, 10% blue life. you know, a good chunk, right? And you get a combo off it, right? You're not going to be getting your optimal combo, but there's a purpose for it now, dude, right? And it needs that, right? That's what you need things to do, right? So that is definitely something that I would change, right? I mean, and of course I said all medium combos, maybe that's going to be your one, you know, jump cancelable move, right? So you can still like maybe jump cancel, but maybe we won't give him a unique normal from that or something, right? I also think you could probably do some fun stuff with the ball, like maybe if you hold in the hard, this EX1 while you do it, maybe he just spins around in place, and you know, like say Milia, when you do like Milia's orb thing, how you can input a couple directions. Maybe if you like hold the thing like this, you'll hear like the sound on the screen. It's like ding, ding, ding. Maybe you could be like, you can actually control it for a few directions. So you could be like, boom that way. Then I'll be like, next time I'll go down. Next time I'll go left. Then I'll go up. Whatever. Give it like a few directions. Give him a little bit of something interesting like that. And if you do choose to use all 3 or however many directions you allow him to get, you know when he does his level 3, because, you know, we don't want it to be cheap or something like that. You know, he does this like little thing where he like, whoosh, like the steam comes out of him. Maybe he has more recovery. Like if you're being super obnoxious with the ball, where you can like change the directions, maybe when he lands, he actually has recovery that is very punishable if it didn't hit, right? I actually think it would be even fun if when he hit his level 3, if instead after hitting his level 3 now, if when he like, you know, reformed, he reformed right on top of the guy, and then you could go for those Karnov balloons mix-ups, and you're like, am I going to float left? Am I going to float right? Follow down attack. You know, it is a game where you have like hards like that, so it's not, you know, so it's not actually even as good as Karnav's Revenge, but it's something fun. It's a little bit of a mix-up. The character does have an easy option to anti-air you, but because you can still switch between the medium and the light balloon, that switches the timing of when you're falling. But I think that would be fun, right? Another thing, hopefully I can show a little bit, not as bad as I missed that fireball follow-up. I think his medium should do more stun like that, right? Make it do more stun, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you this. This is a combo video thing I was trying before, but so you go boom, boom. I fucked it up. So what you can do is, there's actually combos that just barely don't combo like that, right? Let me see if I can show this. Boom. Whoa, fuck me. Boom. Nope, that's not gonna work. Boom. That one should work. Boom. So like that, you know what I mean? You can actually get that so there's only a frame off, right? There's some really fucking cool combos you can almost do with that. So I would actually make that do a little bit more stun so those work, because you can get you can get some wacky fucking shit like that, dude, right? That's pretty fucking cool, right? Anyway, and it doing more stun too would allow you to, you know, maybe this would be a little bit more dangerous when he's going like stuff. Like he's trying to get, you know, Kid Buu is a character, and I would also like, oh man, I'm going more crazy. Jeez, I forgot about this kind of shit. This move right here, I think you should be able to hold this in, because I don't get this. The fireballs are coming down. Like, I mean, you should be able to hold this in for like a level 2, where then it just keeps spraying another spread of shots, so you actually can go in for a mix-up after it. So a level 2 version does a little bit more. You can go for a little bit of a mix-up, that kind of shit, dude, right? I think that's fun, you know. I also think this move hits on a counter hit, boom. If you're in the corner, potentially, you know what I mean? I think you gotta be in the corner, right? There should be set up for like, boom, if this move hits on a counter, ooh, shit, in the corner. Whatever, you get the idea, but there should be some kind of like potential for like a counter hit combo off that, I think. But anyway, so after all this, you're like, wow, dude, Clay, so you're just making Kid Buu even more broken. Well, I did say, remember, I was going to make reflecting better, right? There's more options for reflecting, right? There's a little bit of a more dynamic with reflecting and shit like that, right? So, and of course, he'd have other fundamental kind of frame data changes without getting too specific, but something else I would change one of his weaknesses though is, remember, I said that there'd be a little bit more of a dynamic with reflecting, because you could reflect out of normals if you had a little bit of meter, that kind of thing, or maybe there's even an FD if they actually added that, but I would also have moves that you can't reflect, right? And block damage is a real thing, right? So that would actually be one of Kid Buu's weaknesses in the grand scheme of things in the game, right? because you would be Kid Buu doesn't really have a lot of options to chip the guy out. Besides that, all his stuff just does pixels of block damage. You know what I mean? Like, because I said regular fireballs would do that. And the only move of his that I would say would actually beat Reflect would just be that move. You know what I mean? So like, unlike other characters who would have more versatile moves that can actually beat Reflect, that would be his only move that beats Reflect. I would just say that. You know what I mean? Gives you another reason to potentially use that if you're like baiting the Reflect out of normals. He doesn't have good chip damage. That's his only thing. Because again, I said shit like this, dude. When I'm talking like, dude, like, let me see. There we go. This shit is so stupid. Like that couldn't even hit Trunks fully. It missed some of the hits. Like, dude, if that's why I said like, so beams would be really much more powerful in that kind of situation if I was making a game. Like, dude, if you eat that, first of all, you shouldn't fall out of the beam. You should eat full fucking damage. You should even take more damage. It should do like double the damage. Like, if Team Gohan calls you out like that, and if he were to waste a level 5, that should almost instantly kill the assist, I think. You know what I mean? So in certain like aspects of like that, I know I gave Kid Buu a lot of shit, and he's even easier in some ways. You know what I mean? I'm giving him more mix-ups, more shit. But dude, that shit is fun, dude. You know what I mean? You want people to be able to do shit like that, right? He has more ways to get in. His frame data would be, potentially even better. He has like a fucking super hurricane kick where he can suck you in and then spit you out, and you gotta, what the fuck is going on? But you can reflect more, and that's his only option to beat Reflect. That's the only move of his that actually beats the Reflect, right? And he can't chip you out, really. All his chip would be like shit, you know what I mean? So that would be one of his weaknesses, right? But everything else is like, man, he's getting easier, you know what I mean? He has more things. You give him a little more fundamental changes. He's more fun. Some of his more wacky combos are more stable. They aren't quite as hard. So then the combos that are maybe more hard now become easier. And then there's a little bit more option for the harder combos for some little bit more new shit, right? Anyway, that's kind of shit I would change with Kid Buu. I know you're probably like, wow, man, you're making him broken. But, dude, I actually don't even like Kid Buu, really. But, you know what I mean? The options are there, dude, to make him a really fun character, right? So that's stuff I would change about Kid Buu. The end.